Greetings, everyone! Welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons Adventures of the Forgotten Realm Random Adventure Builder. That's a mouthful, but that's effectively what it is. I'm going to be taking this good old set of magic cards, these Dungeons & Dragons Adventures of the Forgotten Realms, and I'm going to be building an actual adventure out of them. That's what today's goal is I'm going to be going through these cards one at a time, and probably going back to some, and kind of just building an adventure. So we'll open this pack, we're going to take a look at what there is, and build something off of that. Now there are some rules that we want to go over, so let me just throw these rules up into the corner there. Boom! And let's go over these basic rules. I'll do that in this first episode here. So, I must use every card in this pack, including the tokens and basic lands. I must have at least 3 encounters in this. That would be combat encounters, what I'm talking about. 3 basically battles. There are going to be other types of combats I can have in here, other types of encounters, but I should at least have that. I must have a basic idea of any dungeon or map that I'm using that players would be exploring. Kind of a type of them, some basic ideas of the layout. I don't have to go into full details or design something particularly, but I kind of have to go over these basics. There's a bunch of card type rules we're going to skip over for a moment for the last 2 rules. The adventure level is determined by whatever creatures are in here, the kind of MacGuffin or boss that there might be in here and how difficult that is, and levels can possibly be gained on this adventure. We're not going to disclude that. And then a big important thing is card abilities and lore should be reflected too. So whatever the card ability, if the card ability appropriately reflects whatever the monster or whatever the item is in the Dungeons & Dragons game, I don't have to worry about it. But if it's something special, then we will. Let's talk about what each of these types of cards, what we're going to do for them. Again, this is the first episode, which we'll talk a little bit about these further episodes after I'm done these rules in a second here. So, artifacts. They're important items or items that are going to be important to the game in some way. They can be equipment that's given to the startup players, like a big piece of equipment, part of the set of loot that they gain. If it's an item of higher level status, it can be MacGuffin of the game. Artifact creatures can be an important enemy or ally. It kind of depends on the creature and the challenge of it. We'll take a look at them as we do it. Legendary artifacts would be a game MacGuffin. It could be used to kill a boss if you have a big problem, or the story is just about it in general. We'll have to see what all we get. We kind of have to open this pack, see what we have, and make decisions. Non-legendary creatures can take many forms. Humanoid creatures could be enemies or allies to the players. A monster could be friendly to the PCs. Powerful monsters could be patrons or obstacles to overcome rather than enemies, so it doesn't affect the level of it. Like, I could have a beholder in this pack, and if the rest of the creatures don't scream, you're going to be fighting a beholder, well, you know. And flair on these packs, on the cards, will be used. Legendary creatures can either be used in villains, kind of as bosses, or mini-bosses in some kind of ways, or an influential PC to the adventure. Some of these don't have to show up. And, like, whatever this actual legend is, you don't have to use it. Dritz is in the set. If I get Dritz, I'm not going to be using Dritz. I will tell you that. I will not be using Dritz allies. I will be using the idea that they are a legendary creature to make whatever the idea of that legend is important. A drow ranger could be something I could have, and people might joke jokes about Dritz or something. It could be an important male drow who lives on the surface, maybe has some levels of ranger, but maybe just has some other levels of something, but it acts as an influential adventure type NPC. You have to think of it that way. That's a good example of it. Planeswalkers are just the same as legendary creatures. Let's go scroll down. Basic lands reflect the basic starting area of the adventure. Where the adventure is, the main dungeon, enemy, all that kind of stuff. It kind of reflects that. Non-basic will be kind of places to visit, maybe a reflection of a special location, an area to assist their quest, things like that. Enchantments will be magic that's important to an area of their adventure, can be against or for a player. Auras reflect spells used by players or enemies that will have some effect on the encounter or an area, so they're specifically something. That's kind of got flexibility. Class enchantments, which were introduced in this, are going to be a class that's important to the adventure. It could be the class that a villain is, if the villain is an NPC. It could be that there's an important NPC that helps the players that are class, things like that. And then, of course, instants or sorceries are very difficult. Instants are going to be sudden effects. You're going to have that idea that they're like surprise type things, sudden changes, and it's going to reflect basically what the card is, and it's going to be very difficult to use. Same with sorcery, except sorcery is more of a story beat, I would say. It's coming up. Players might be able to expect that kind of story beat. These two we're going to look at and kind of reflect. And I've misspelled story in this little thing I did here. Let me correct that. And dungeons are difficult to use. We're not using the pre-made dungeons that are in here, because dungeons new card too. But the rooms and encounters reflect maybe one of the dungeons we're using and building in this adventure. So that's the kind of basic rules. Now, right now, I'm recording this specifically for YouTube, but in the future, I might record these on Twitch to get some input from chat. That's going to be up in the air. Now, I've got my beautiful face here and the displayed cards here. There might be a little glare. I'll have to try to work on that. The rules will be up in the corner. I'll kind of keep them up there. Let me scroll to the top for the rules. We'll just leave them up there. And there's one more component to this, and we'll throw it up here. Cards. Now, this card here is one of the D&D's Adventures of the Forgotten Realms, Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. And what I'm going to do is, when we're talking about one of these cards, I'm going to throw it up over there so you can read it easier, and I don't have to keep it in front here for you to notice. But let's start with a pack opening, because that's the first thing we're going to do here. We're going to see what we have in here. That's the exciting part. I don't know what we got. We're going to figure it out. I said I might stream this on Twitch, so we're kind of opening the pack, kind of getting it open here. Let's take a look here. This is a treasure token. Okay, so a big token is treasure. That's a good one. Let's see it. Earth Cult Elemental. So we have an Elemental, Steadfast Paladin, a Shortcut Seeker. I'm going to try to get these close. I don't think my camera is auto-adjusting very well. That's why I'm going to have the cards on the side, because this is not adjusting very well. Armory Veteran. Hired Hexblade. I'll try to get some auto-adjustments on my camera. My camera is an okay one, but it's not a great one. A Sylvan Shepherd. Okay, a lot of humanoids. Dawnbridge Cleric. Ooh, that's a cool looking card. We have a Secret Door. Ooh, we're gonna have a Secret Door in this one. An Exploring Wilds. Oh, and it's one of the cool, like, old adventure style. I like these. I saw that these existed, and I thought these were really cool looking. Priest of Ancient Lore. A Choose Your Weapon instant. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting to add in. A Battlecry Goblin. Goblins. That looks like we got an idea for some things. Oh, Demogorgon's Clutches. So we're going to have some demonic influence here. The Monk class. Ooh, I got some ideas for that already. Our basic land is a mountain. That goes well with Monk. We can have a monastery location. So yeah, and our rare was, of course, the Monk class. So let's talk about what we have, and we're going to kind of go over each of these and kind of hit them on the nail. Let me just do something here. I think what I'm going to do here is a quick... Yeah, I'm editing some stuff on the fly. Go figure. You know that sometimes you're going to do that. So I'm going to switch out these rules to a different notepad. One right there. That's blank. So we can make a few notes here, and I can copy them down, so you can just see what I'm saying. So this will be, we're going to call it Adventure 1. Okay. So that's just going to be my notes up in the corner there. I have to remember I mirrored this so you guys could see all these. But let's take a look and start building what we have here. So we have, let's separate them out. I got a lot of creatures here, it turns out. I've got one artifact, 2 lands, an instant, a sorcery, a treasure token, the monk class, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 creatures. That's a bunch. That's a bunch of creatures. So I gotta figure out what to do with all these creatures. But, we can start with this mountain. This mountain's a very easy thing, and that's what I was talking about, lands. And I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with, we have a mountainous area. We could say this adventure revolves around a small village at the base of a mountain area, where our heroes are meeting. And the thing is, they have to travel up through a wilderness land. Now, Evolving Wilds is a kind of difficult one to use, and I always see it as having a area that you explore that's a different landscape than the one that our base one is. You have to think of it that way. So we have our... I was thinking about this a little bit. So we're going to have our village, kind of at the base of the mountains, and a forest. Forests are a very easy one to do, that they're going to have to traverse through in order to get up on the mountain. And I think this monk class gave me a great idea of, it's going to revolve around a monastery of some kind. We're already building an adventure here. We already have a small village, a forest that our people are traveling through, and a monastery. Now, this monastery, is it filled with people? Is it abandoned? Is there a quest line related to it? We don't know yet. We're building it. But there's going to be a secret door and some treasure. Now, Demogorgon's Clutches. This thing here is, it's basically like the idea that Demogorgon, the demon lord, is attacking. But I'm going to see this one as more of the Demogorgon's influence is happening. There's demonic influence of servants of Demogorgon happening somewhere. Is it major or minor influence? We don't know yet. That's to be determined because we haven't really figured out our level. Choose your weapon is a little difficult here too, because there's 2-weapon fighting or archery. And I think what we can do for this is we can combine choose our weapon with another one of these that I saw here. A couple of these here are kind of difficult to kind of bring about. I think what we could do for choose your weapon is we could have this be, you have to choose a guide, the forest. Maybe it's like a lost woods that's very dangerous to travel through. And there's specialized guides that know about it, that know the pathway and through it, that you can get very lost very easily, and it's recommended by people down in the village. So, let's say the village has been having some kind of issues as of late. Terrible dreams. So we have mountain base village. Put that on there. Then we have forest. We'll call it a lost forest. Forest with need of guide. 2 options. 2 rangers. That's where we're gonna get our choose our weapons. Two guides. Because there's 2-weapon fighting and archery here, arranged in melee one. And we'll make some differences between this. So we'll say, like, this gives options to our adventure. And then, of course, we have mountain with a monastery on it. So I'm making just some loose notes over on the side here. I'm not making anything major. I'm not doing a full write-up of it, but you can see my notes for my thought patterns here as we're kind of building this adventure. I think we can use this as a kind of MacGuffin, actually. Demogorgon is a powerful demon. He's not going to be coming directly into the material plane. But there could be demonic influence, and in this case, because this looks like people are being attacked by it, maybe there's nightmares that are going on. Bad dreams that have been haunting this small town. And the idea is this ancient monastery with a special order of monks was said to battle demons. And it's thought that they fell to an attack of demons, and perhaps the influence of that demons is rising up again. So people are having dreams of demonic monsters attacking them. So we'll say fought, demons, lost, demonic influence. And we'll go up here to Mountain Village and have haunted dreams. Hires adventurers. They're calling to some people to assist them. And it's where our players come in. They're coming to assist this group. I'll make sure I don't cut off at the edge there. So, wow. This is actually a really cool adventure already. Your players come into a small mountain village at the base of a thing. And whether they're there on purpose, i.e. it's a call to arms where they've already heard the message, or they're just traveling together and end up in this small mountain village, they learn that the place is haunted by terrible dreams which maybe kill people, cause issues, things like that, curse people, of demonic creatures. And talking to people, they learn that people believe that this ancient abandoned monastery on the mountain above which was an order that fought demons. Remember, monks are lawful. Monks are lawful. So they could be lawful good monks that fought chaotic evil demons. The monk's lawful thing. Monks are very usually like kind of that lawful order, codes and stuff. So I can see a group of monks that oppose demons, I can see that happen. They lost. Their monastery was destroyed. But it's thought that perhaps a lingering demonic influence is beginning to affect the city from there. Okay. And then we have, because of our evolving wilds, there's a forest of mists or mystery. Let's change it from Lost Forest to like a forest of mists. We'll call it a mist forest. I like that better. Mist forest. And it's only specific guides, and there's 2 in the city. 2 rangers, which could guide you through the forest. Now, we have a couple of white creatures in here that we should take a look at here, because if we're talking demons, they come in. I feel like there is 3 I can very easily say would be creatures that could be enemies. We should look at this now. We got the Battle Cry Goblins. Fight some goblins. The Earth Cult Elemental. You fight an Earth Elemental. Armory Veteran. Very easily there. We don't have a boss, but we do have some other things. The Sylvan Shepherd. This could be a friendly encounter in the Mist Forest. Perhaps your guide leads you to this druid who might know more. Maybe. Then we have 2 over here. A Shortcut Seeker. And of course, the Hired Hexblade. We could use these still. That's the thing is, we don't have a big boss. And I dropped one of these cards like a fool. Again, first episode, so don't mind me not being perfect here. We could have that perhaps what had caused this was a rogue, a Shortcut Seeker, was looting the place. And their looting the place disturbed something, which unleashed a dream demon of some kind, who's influencing the town and trying to maybe like steal their dreams to summon more demons to create an army or something. Hired Hexblade could be some kind of agent, like this Hired Hexblade could be hired by some cultists who are in the town, who have succumbed to the demon, to assassinate the players. That's an idea. Maybe not. I feel like the Hexblade should attack and kill them. Not very assassiny, not very stealthy. So we got some ideas for these creatures, and then of course we have a Steadfast Paladin, the Dawnbringer Cleric, and Priest of Ancient Lore. So these 3 are harder to add in with the story as we've been building it, because so far we really haven't gotten to that thing. Now, the monasteric order could have also had a paladin as a member of it, a Steadfast Paladin. Maybe this paladin lost their lives, and their spirit can assist them, a friendly ghost. Yeah, we're taking a lot of steps from here, but we're creating basically a NPC version, a ghost version of this NPC that we can use it in an interesting way. We're gonna go up a little bit more over stuff on these cards too. Let's see here. Like this talks about the Hundlestone. Honestly, this part here, the quote on here, it's one of the territories in favor. We could just have this as in Hundlestone, that territory, if we really wanted to. I'd have to take a quick look up for a Hundlestone to look at what I know about it, because honestly, I don't know a lot. It's one of those areas I haven't used. But so far, we're doing pretty good with an idea of what it is. So, let's put together this adventure now. And then maybe we have a secret door to find the treasure, which in this case, the treasure is important because it's the way to seal the demon away again. I think I just wrote the adventure. So let's go over it. Our players find themselves in a mountain region in the, we'll say the Hundlestone, near a small village at the base of one of these mountains. It turns out this area is in the clutches of Demogorgon, one of his a type of demon that is known to be able to haunt the dreams, a unique creature that is both ghostly and like corporeal and incorporeal, something that's very difficult to fight. So our band of adventurers are called on to battle against this. Of course, they must seek out a local priest for information on the monastery, a priest of ancient lore. Let's make a note of that under here. Find priest who knows of monastery. Who informs them the information about it, that they had done a war with these group of monks in a monastery up on the mountain. Their order, which we're not naming the order, we're not giving names and stuff right now. They were battling against demons, and they had sealed away a very powerful, special type of demon that was able to haunt the dreams of people and steal their dreams to create more demons. Basically stealing people's souls through dreams. Which is kind of cool sounding. And he was defeated and sealed away, but not before a group of other demons managed to slay them. Fortunately, the item, our treasure, was unable to be touched by demon hands. So sealed dream demon. Demons can't touch. Only good touch and use item. Which we can have our rogue here. Our rogue's not a bad guy. He was just in it for a little bit of money. It's an abandoned place. You can say he's maybe our shortcut rogue here is not a bad guy. Wasn't really. And we're going to talk about that. So that's our background story, is then a good-natured rogue activated item freed demon. Died. Wanted to get some money for an orphanage. There you go. Good-natured rogue. Can use the item, which can only be affected by, which only good people can use. That seals away a demon. So the demons and their servants can't get to it. So we've used our rogue. Help orphanage. You can have a note on him or something, so your players might want to help the orphanage. So we can see that. Of course, there's a forest of mist that surrounds the mountain that's very difficult to overcome. So you have to find a guide for it, and there are 2 different guides in town. We could have very easily... Now, we have 2 guides. Why do we want to have those 2 guides? What's the difference between them? We could have... This is a good question. The option of 2 guides creates choice in the players, which is good to create choice. But what are we doing with that choice? What's the difference between that choice? Are we having no difference? It's just theme? Or do we want to have some kind of different encounter? Why don't we say we have different encounters based on this? Both of them are going to lead to our Sylvan Shepherd, our druid here. Let me just check. And we're going to use the shortcut seeker to figure out where our secret door is. Because I like it on what it says on there. So we're going to keep the shortcut seeker to the side because I think I can use that for a secret door for kind of where it is in the quote on the bottom of it. And the Priest of Ancient Lore can also, like, heal you, gives you some knowledge. And we'll say they could also, I don't know, give a couple scrolls. Give scrolls and lend assistance of one of their clergy. A Dawnbringer priest. A Dawnbringer cleric. So effectively, there's an NPC that accompanies your players during this time. A cleric who knows how to use the item. Because it's more than just, you can play around with it and accidentally activate it. It's like knows how to properly use the item. Something that is maybe more difficult to teach. So it's like there will be a little bit of escort quest here too. We'll say escort quests are kind of boring. I want to use this cleric as like an NPC sent with them, who's helping them. But I don't want it to be escort questy. I want it to be something that's there for a reason. Because there could be a cleric on the team anyway. We don't know if there's going to be a cleric or not. So we want to have this cleric be useful, but not overshadow the cleric you've got. But also, we don't want it to necessarily be a MacGuffin, because it's just a cleric. And that makes it more difficult to be a MacGuffin. They could, like, give some scrolls. That can represent more of the ancient knowledge. Lend some, give some items. So we'll say scrolls and potions. Look at that. Lend assistance on the clergy. Who, let's say that, there are, See, this is very difficult. I want to include this here, and I don't want it to be... It's the idea you don't want to overshadow your players, but you still want it. And this is a good idea for why I would live stream on this on Twitch, because I could throw this off of Twitch chat and see if I get some suggestions. That might help. I mean, we have certainly gotten through this here. We haven't figured out our rangers, we haven't figured out a druid, and we haven't had a battle in the forest. We can throw the goblins, honestly, into the forest. That can be a battle in the forest. Goblins, maybe after the druid. And then earth elementals, a battle in the mountain. And what about the orcs? Orcs can be a second battle in the mountain. We could have a couple of... Well, we could have the orcs, the battle in the mountain, the earth elemental actually be something that was left over by the monastery to help defend it. There you go. Oh, hey, we figured out an idea for that one. Let's wait on the cleric for a moment and talk about the hexblade. But before leave, attacked by a hired hexblade. Ordered to kill by town cultists. I mean, that's a little cliche. Honestly. No, you know what? Let's rewrite this a little bit. The players aren't being attacked by this. Rather than being lended assistant of the Dawnbringer cleric, this powerful healer who can help out with stuff. Granted, like having them as an NPC that could heal the players, great. But what we could say is the High Priest mentions that one of his clergy in this small village. Let's just say that they have an order that is descended. Okay, what clergy descended from Monastery and the monastic order. So they still have monks in there. They have clerics and paladins that work together. This was a very good religious-based monastery, which doesn't... Monks, they could be religious, too. I mean, doesn't say they can't be. So, rather than the assistants of one of the clergy, one of the members has knowledge that may help. Let's say, like, Old Map. Lives on the outskirts of town. And so, find cleric under attack by Hexblade, hired by cultists with orc mercenaries. So, as our first big encounter would be our Dawnbringer cleric lives probably a little farther outside of town, away from where the basically large church in this small village that's left over from that monastery that fell. The cultists had at least hired recently a elven warlock mercenary and his band of orcish mercenaries to kill this man off. He's supposed to have ancient knowledge, an old map, and some other knowledge of the location that can help the players out. Like maybe giving some hints as to where the secret door is. Maybe some kind of riddle, we'll say. Riddles are hard to come up with, but we can say there's like a little riddle there. So now we have our first big encounter. Yeah. Okay, so riddle to find secret door, and we're gonna say the secret door is also a it's on a floor. On the floor, it's a trap door. Treasure of the monastery, an item to defeat demon inside. Okay, cool. So we actually have a pretty cool storyline that we're developing here very quickly. Well, it's not too quickly. It's taking a little longer than I thought, but nice, not too bad. Honestly, we've got one major encounter here. Let's say here, what level are we talking about here? Right now, I'm feeling level 3 to 5, I'd say, with this adventure. That's where I'm feeling with this one. That could easily defeat the Earth Elemental. Enough orcs and a warlock could be fought. A bunch of goblins could still be a threat here at this level. The Dream Demon itself is not supposed to be a thing you're fighting, but there could be like some minor demons, like closets or something that were created from the villagers' dreams from those that were killed already. So, our two rangers. Let's have a encounter, some kind of encounter with each of them. Something that each of them would have a different help for. Like, your choose your weapon is a difficult one to do. Because I feel like, you know, I'm having it that it's options for two guides. And the two different types of guides, one would be bow-based and one... So really, we're kind of like still working on that. We could skip the ranger part of it and see the difference of it, and we could have it that they are to. I think what we should have is for the Sylvan Shepherd is that the rangers have to say permission from druids who guard forest to pass the mists. So now you have to go to these Sylvan Shepherds and convince them to let you through. We'll keep it that simple that way. That's a pretty easy, this one. That you convince them, these Guardians of the Forest, to go through. Very easily. And then you could easily, then we can throw the goblins as a mountain encounter. Goblins, Goblin Ambush. Keep it simple that way. Just the Goblin Ambush. We'll attack them. Your guides will have left you by then. So we've got that. We got our cleric, we got our hexblade, we got our orcs, who are mercenaries. The armory veteran is mercenaries. That makes sense. The hired hexblade is a leader of a mercenary band, an elven warlock that leads a bunch of orcs as mercenaries. It's a pretty cool idea. And then the elemental. So we go down to here. Monastery grounds defended by elemental. Cleric gave loose map and way to pass elemental. So this here could be fought, or it might not be fought. Because the mercenaries are going to be trying to kill the person, and they happen to arrive at the right time. You know, the coincidences of the adventure. The person still could be killed. If they are killed, you'll have to fight this. If you manage to save them, you don't. We'll keep it as simple as that. And so we now have 3 battles. Our minimum, we have our Goblin Ambush on the mountain range. Goblins just happen to live in that mountain area. A group of goblins that managed to get in through probably like secretive ways around the forest and things like that, or through tunnels to the mountain. And once you arrive, then you can go into the dungeon. Now, we don't have any things for our dungeon here. Our dungeon is the monastery. Yeah, we know that. We've figured out that the dungeon map, it's probably going to be like a couple of floors and a basement, honestly. It's going to have the grounds, maybe a couple of buildings spread out. Monastery grounds, 2 floors, basement, couple of smaller buildings. Oh, we cut off a little bit at the end there. It seems like I went over a little bit, but that's fine. We got an idea of what the monastery is like. We have our dungeon layout, which I talked about. We have our 3 encounters, at least. We have a basic idea of the dungeon. Why don't we throw into here closets, maybe some kind of vermin encounter, an undead encounter, as possible things for exploring here. An old trap, we'll say. So that's kind of damaged, and maybe like a mid-tier, a mid-level demon or something. Something like that's like a challenge 5 or 6, depending on the level we choose here for it. So let's say those are going to be our things that are in the monastery now, that I'm going to spread out into various rooms, you know, however many rooms. Will be ones of closets that are the, you know, spirits of the dead. There'll be something that's like vermin, an undead encounter. Of course, we're going to find, you'll be told to head to the room of the Protector. Room of Protector to find key to secret door. Our rogue used magical rogue tricks to overcome it. Basically, he kind of picked the lock, but with magic items and stuff. Like used knock or something like that to overcome the magical thing. Which, you know, our players could do that too. They could be let know, like, you know, that, I mean, they'll find the body of this rogue with the treasure. Meet Ghost of Head Paladin. Give help in some way. How do we want our Ghost Paladin to help out? We did come up with the fact that there's this Ghost Paladin that's haunting the place, that's a lingering spirit, that's a benevolent lingering spirit rather than a negative one. Maybe that was always looking to protect the monastery and has lost influence because of the demons, but is trying to keep the dream demon in, fighting dream demon. So the reason the dream demon hasn't broken out or gotten stronger is because this paladin spirit has been protecting the monastery all this time and still is protecting it. Now we got a cool idea of like this benevolent spirit in here that's protecting the place, that's been keeping things, and then can give them the key, and can inform them of, you know, what's going on. I think there should still be a fight. There should still be like a demonic boss. The mid-level demon might be the boss, honestly. We're gonna kind of put this in a quotation of boss question mark. Because in 5e, there are more demons than just closet, but there's not a lot of low-level demons. You know, there's a couple of lower-level ones in 5e. And that makes it has a little bit of a challenge here. Oh, I haven't put the cards up. Well, screw me. I've been showing them off, but I haven't been showing them off on the side here. I kept forgetting to. Oh, God. That was something I was going to do for this one. Sorry, folks. I'll try to do this for this last bit here. Show the cards here. Let's get one of the cards here. Oh, boy. Yeah. I mean, I'll go over the cards when I finish this up. How's that? Well, I'll add in the cards this time over here as I go over it, but yeah, sorry about that. I got so engrossed in creating this, I forgot about it, honestly. It's been fun doing this. Also a body of rogue who disturb things and set adventure into motion. There we go. That's not how I spell motion. I don't know what treasure we're giving the players. There'll be some treasure there. Probably the paladin says they could take whatever they want from it. It's their hidden treasury. It's probably under some kind of place in the basement with a secret door that's a trap door that requires some kind of specialized key, which the rogue overcame through rogue trickery. And then once they have the item, they can confront the mid-level demon, which is the boss, and use the item to banish the demon, and yeah, finish it off. And the dream demon will be banished. They'll kill off the mid-level demon. Call it a day. Call the adventure a day. So really, we are down to what the fuck we're doing with choose your weapon. That's what we're down to. We have a really cool adventure now. This actually sounds like a really fun adventure to run now. I'll have to run these adventures at some point in time. Honestly, I might have to run them on stream. Adventure 1, we'll call it, or something. You know, if I build the monsters and stuff and put together a list of stuff, then you have an idea of the actual level. I'm giving a kind of generalized right now because this is what it feels like. If I'm getting an ambush of goblins, a bunch of orc mercenaries, and a hexblade, like closets, some zombies or skeletons, maybe some spiders. We should have one more encounter. Maybe like animal or actually it's called beast encounter. Beast encounter and magic creature encounter. You know, some kind of weird, unusual creature we'll throw in there too. So we'll have these 6 basically encounters in our dungeon, which might be like 15 rooms at most, 10 to 15 rooms. It depends on how much you want to fill them and stuff like that. We're not going to have a huge amount of rooms in this dungeon. We'll say like, yeah, 10 to 15 rooms estimate. And we'll have some minor treasures in there too that can be found, things like that. We got an idea of our dungeon, certainly, though. We've definitely hit up all that. Yeah. And we got most of the lore and card abilities. The Earth Cult Elemental could... we can add something in for this one. The Earth Elemental that they can overcome. Above them tosses rocks. Tossing rocks. The cleric can help them and stuff. The goblins, well, they got pack tactics, and they'll have a leader then, basically, like a leader that, you know, gives them special abilities and boosts, we can say. The druid could heal them if necessary. Just checking, you know, if there's any quotes or stuff on these cards that I've used. The monk one. The monk card I could use more for, like, monk abilities or something like that. But, honestly, using a class card is kind of like... I actually did come up with great ways. It's a monk monastery that was also half many religious, so it probably had some clerics and paladins, but it was mostly monks, an order of monks that served this religion fighting demons. It was a cool idea. Kind of like putting it together that way. Choose your weapon. Jeez, this is a tough one. Man, I just... There has to be a reason why, if I'm using the idea of 2 different people, that there's a difference between them. You know, why are these 2 here? What does it mean to have these 2 rangers? They're guides. Yes, that's for sure. But why difference? Why is the choice? What does it matter? I want it to matter because it's based on one of our cards. That's why I'm like saying this here, is that, you know, we're making it matter because, you know, it mattered to the monks, or it matters to the card, you know. Why is the difference between them make a difference? We really should maybe have a forest encounter that, depending on the situation, maybe you could lose your guide or not, you know. I don't know. That's a hard one. Like, I know we've kept some of these simple, so maybe we'll just keep this one simple, honestly. We've used the choose your weapon to be like you're choosing one of 2 rangers to be your guide. Does that thematically make a difference to the storyline, which guide you take? No, they're going to end up in the same place, probably. But, you know, maybe keeping it simple is the best. 1 ranged, 1, 2 weapon. Okay. I think we have our adventure. And so let's talk about our summary here. Let's see if I can quickly do this here and throw this together. So we'll start out with our basic one here, and we'll just throw these up here. So we'll start with our story, and I'll try to switch these over. Different mount, though. our players find themselves in a mountain village on the base, in a mountainous area, region, at the base of a very large mountain in this region, at a small village. As they come into this village, they stay the night, and while they're staying there, they learn of something that is going on in this village. Something quite dangerous. They learn that there is some form of dream demon who is giving nightmares to the locals and eventually killing them, stealing their souls, or something like that. About learning about this, they'll be asked by the local mayor to assist in this situation, to try to help out. They'll learn about this ancient monastic order that fought demons, sealed away this creature, but it was eventually overcome by demons. It is said, though, that something must have happened to free it from its clutches, which shouldn't have happened. Demonic influence should not have been able to go to it. They're told about a nearby and local priestly order, which is said to be descendants from them, in which then they are going to go to... quickly switch quads here. Which then they will, of course, inquire with that order and go to their leader, who will be able to inform them about the basic idea of the story we were talking about, of giving them the ancient lore of this entire thing. Probably is Dwarven. We'll say it's Dwarven. Why not? Dwarven priest, who basically gives them a lot of information. Upon saying that they are going to take up the quest to go up to the monastery and figure out why this thing has gotten free, he's been trying to basically protect the town with his spells. He'll give them a number of potions and scrolls and inform him. A member of his clergy that has secluded himself a little farther away was said to know some of the ancient, have a copy of one of the ancient maps, and know a few hints about the monastery itself. One of the few members of his clergy to ever take a journey up there many years ago. Of course, going to meet this person, they happen to come across that he is under attack. There is a elven warlock mercenary, a hired hexblade that is there attacking him, and he is accompanied by a group of orcs, of orcish mercenaries, and the two of them are attacking this clergy. Once they save this man, or don't save him, regardless, they can get the map, and there'll be knowledge to gain from him, maybe some notes that he left behind. But we can switch. Oh boy, I'm just clicking all the wrong buttons here to tell the story of the basic thing here. I'm trying to throw out the cards because I should have done this earlier. There's the cleric who is assisting them, but this leads them to eventually head into this forest of mist that they learned about. But they've learned through encounters with other people, and probably like from the priest and stuff, that if they're going to head in there, they're going to need some kind of guide to get their way there. So they'll learn through this forest of mist that there are two guides to choose from, and we'll show the evolving wilds here, which will be the evolving wilds, which I've got the much cooler version of. I'm going to be honest, I really, really like this version of it. I like the adventure packs that I do. With this, it's a magical forest. People get lost in there. That's the kind of thing it is. So it's an evolving wild. But they will have to choose their guides wisely. Because it will totally probably not make a difference which guide they choose. Honestly, that might be something that's to be determined if there's a actual reason between these. I can't think of a good one. But they'll choose a guide. And the guide will reveal to them that there are an ancient group of druids which would they have to meet with. A small group of druids who are the guardians of this forest, and that they can inquire with them to safely pass through. And so let's put up the Sylvan Shepherd here, as they will go and have a kind of story beat encounter with these druids. Once they pass the forest, though, they'll find themselves in the mountains. Their guide will pass from them, but they have to deal with the first problem, is that there are a number of goblins infesting this area, and a group led by a particularly kind of warlike leader will turn them against them. And they'll have a surprise ambush by some goblins. Well, eventually, once they overcome that, they will find themselves heading to the Monastery. Where's that monk class card that I can pop up here? The Monastery. Where the first defense of the Monastery is, of course, a powerful earth elemental that was armed with a lot of boulders, or just is known for chucking rocks, and has been guarding the area ever since. It doesn't prevent everything from coming in. There's creepy crawlies and small stuff and undead and things that have infested the place that are left over there, but it keeps a lot of people from entering. Eventually, after exploring said location, dealing with undead, vermin, magical beast traps, they would have been told to head for the Guardian Paladin's chambers. That he had the secret to enter into the secret door. And they will find out that he is not dead, but haunting the place as a ghost that's been the protector. That was protecting this place, and has now been fighting against the Dream Demon, as both of them are like spiritual beings, keeping it at bay. Of course, they will learn where to find the secret door. Where are you, secret door? Secret door, which houses the treasure before. He adventured to a dungeon. Yeah, that'd be great. There was, the secret door, which will lead to an underground area, we'll say. Yeah, let's just add this a little bit. The secret door doesn't lead to the treasure right away. It leads to like a hidden crypt or something. Trapdoor leads to second basement. Crypt area. Trap. Few traps. Some another undead guardian. Like a guardian of some kind. That like the rogue slipped by. They'll learn that maybe the fate of this rogue who happened to have been the cause of all this. The shortcut rogue who, the shortcut seeker, who was coming here to get some money for an orphanage. It's an old abandoned place. Thought to loot it for some things. Not going to disrespect things. We'll call it a crypt area. Maybe it's not all a crypt. It's like a secret basement-y area. And eventually they'll end up with the treasure. That'll be the last thing they get, is the treasure. And once they have the treasure, they'll fight their mid-boss, or their boss mid-level demon. They'll defeat the, I don't have a token I can draw very quickly. So, that's not popping up. Oh, whoop. The Gatherer. But, they'll defeat the Dream Demon, defeat the demon that's guarding, that's basically his main warrior, and call it a day. That's our adventure. Wow. It took an hour about the design here. A little long, but I took these cards here. I built an adventure. And you know what? A pretty good adventure here. This sounds like a fun little adventure to do. This would be a very interesting one. It's got a bunch of encounters. It's got heart to it. It involves all the cards. I mean, I do feel like the choose your weapon one is the weakest of the stuff in here. But honestly, like, for just being, you have an option of 2 rangers that can guide you to the forest of the druids. That's not too bad. That's the major story piece. Those are major NPCs we've included because of the card. We included that as a major choice that players have to make, is which one they want to hire on. There might be reasons behind it. And, you know, again, like maybe throwing in a, we'll say like a forest encounter of some kind. Counter, question mark. Might be good. Might be an excuse for, like, you know, each one of them would have a different encounter or something. That's an option to think about. So there's still more we could do to solidify this entire thing, but we have the basics from these cards. Yeah. I'm going to take these cards. I'm going to put them back in the box for now, because I'm going to eventually just have them all in the box. Because I got, right now, a box of these to do. I'm going to see how people like this, how people enjoy this, how people have fun with it, that kind of thing. And we'll go from there. How much you people out there enjoy this content. And we'll play if I do more. Now, whether I record these more, mistakes and all, or I do them on live on Twitch, I'm probably not going to do more than once a week of these. And we're just going to kind of play it by ear. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of thought experiment, taking a set of Magic cards and building a D&D adventure. You know, something you could have 4 or 5 sessions with and have a good time. You know, we know it's levels 3 to 5. It's a good one. I really enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm going to pop off for now. I hope everybody has a great evening. As I said, I might try one of these on Twitch to see about the live response. I will record it separately like I'm doing now still for YouTube. But to get some influx back, you know, from people. Not sure how I want to handle that yet. Kind of play it by ear. But I hope everybody stays safe, stay healthy. And till the next one of these, or the next thing you watch of mine, farewell everybody.